There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists and their fucking weird ass terrorist families talking in my fucking head. These bitches have sat in wherever they're sitting behind a computer talking in my fucking head, and they're murdering me and my fucking kids and my friends and their kids, and they're saying they're responsible for the murder of Bernadette Oloskov, David Basili, Daniel Atkins, the girl that was with him. They're saying they're responsible for the murder of Kiro Shady, Dr. Georgie, Georgette, CK, CJ Thomas, Jerry Morrow. They're saying they're responsible for Chris Chowder for the murder of Miriam's parents, Heidi's old boss's husband, who hung himself, I think, and they're saying they're responsible for the murder of Dilo, Labion. There was a girl that got shot in Bay Vista in the parking lot. She was only like 17. They're saying they're responsible for the murder of Amin and Sarah Saad, Mark and Jacob Iskander. They're saying they're responsible for the murder of Nasra, and there's a Egyptian girl that was murdered, Muslim, at the back of the bus. She got beat up to death by some girls, and the terrorists in my head are saying they trafficked these women, all these people, and they murdered the victims of these crimes, and they took handle of the people that they used as weapons to murder them, and then incarcerated them and sentenced them to life in prison. I'm not saying that at this point it's like who's to know if they can use them again, so I'm not disagreeing with what's going on, but at the same time, there are terrorists in my head saying this shit, and I'm like, I checked myself. I'm like checking myself into hospitals, dude, because the bitches in my head keep playing with they're playing with my nervous system. They're playing with my brain activity. They're making my hair fall out, and then the fucking whorebags are laughing. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists living in California. I want them sentenced to fucking death. They're murdering me. They're talking in my head. I want those bitches sentenced to fucking death. You hear me? They said they stabbed the Palestinian boy to death 26 times. They said their organization's been around for so long. They're the ones who melted the flesh off the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer's murders, framed him and retarded him, and murdered him. They said they're responsible for the murder of Aaliyah and Kobe Bryant, and for the murder of Florence Joyner Jr., which, by the way, aside from Jeffrey Dahmer, do you notice how they make me do that almost every time I make a video? Okay, so the Jeffrey Dahmer, mine is Jeffrey Dahmer. Every person I mentioned has died, and there was like absolutely no and they're talking in my head, these fucking bitches pretending to investigate us. There were no clues at all to a person's death, to these persons dying. It just happened. Like, there was nobody expected Dilo to get shot, and yet he did. In front of his 2-year-old daughter. There was nobody who suspected that the 17-year-old girl in the parking lot was gonna get shot, and yet she did. In Bay Vista. Look, they're making me go cross-eyed. He doesn't want me to feel attractive. He wants to strip me of my femininity and hurt me and abuse me and rape me and murder me. And they rape me. Like, I can feel them like molesting me. while they're murdering me, and then they're flirting with the women that they're Egyptian American Muslim terrorist women in the house where they're fucking talking and behind a fucking computer that is connected to some war weapon. The women, man, the women are disgusting, and they're murdering me and my kids. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them fucking slaughtered. I don't give a shit. I want them sentenced to fucking death. I want it to be personal, obviously. I love that I met Fatima, who I would never wish that upon. She's Egyptian American Muslim, and I know Asra, never wish. I'm talking about specifically the fucking terrorist whorebags. I want those bitches to fucking die. They're talking in my fucking head, and the bitches are trying to get me to stop saying that I hear them in my fucking heads. Those bitches, when this all started, I used to hear them only when I was at home, because there were no cameras where I was living, and they wanted to ruin my credit and get me evicted. I wouldn't hear them outside where there are cameras at the post stops and at the stores. Now it's like it's all the time. So I guess they figured might as well just go like aggressive and just have me want to refrain from going outside. So they made my hair fall out like crazy. They're making me age. They make me swell. They're like abusing me so that first of all, no one can recognize me. And second, so that no one's attracted to me, so that I don't end up in a relationship and have another kid. Can you believe this shit? And so I don't make money outside of what they think, what they need, like what is in, like what tailors to their agenda and what they're attempting to manipulate me to believe, which is go look for alternative medications outside of prescription drugs, and you're a loser, you're looking for government assistance, and you're a fucking stupid bitch, you're seeing a psychiatrist and you're telling people you hear voices in your head, you look like a crazy whore, nobody fucking wants you. Like they're doing like the 9. And then you fucking bitch, look at your fucking daughter, she's talking back to you, you fucking bitch. The voices in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. You do not understand. They're terrorists. And I'm specifically talking about the terrorists. If I ever fucking... Honest, I know I'll never see the fucking whorebags. Look, they made me cross-eyed again. The fucking stupid bitches, they're investigating me, and they want to pretend like the voices that I'm hearing in my head are coming from outside. So I started to put 1 and 2 together. I'm like, okay, so the bitches are talking, and they don't want me to seek medical attention. They don't want me in front of a camera. They don't want me to do anything, and they don't want me happy. They don't want me in front of the camera. They want me to look aggressive, right? And all I could think was these stupid fucking manipulative bitches are sitting there. They're trying to. There are records involved. They're talking in my head because they want to make an excuse for investigating me and the reasons for my death. Like they want to decide how long I live, what I do, how I die. They're terrorists in my head. I want them sentenced to death. I swear to God, I'm done talking. And you know what pisses me off more? Like, death doesn't even scare me at this point. I'm like, it's so fucking pathetic. The bitches won't even come outside to meet me. Oh, and by the way, they said they're investigating me. Let me go back to that point. These fucking manipulative bitches. So they want to pretend like they're outside. So anybody in my surroundings could be a suspect to a crime because I'm sitting around talking all day negatively, and they wanted to pretend like the voices that I was arguing with were coming from outside. They're terrorists talking in my fucking head. I want those bitches in fucking caskets. So of course, if they stood outside, how stupid would they be, right? Because apparently this weapon that they're using, okay, it's surveillance. He made me cross-eyed twice, 3 times now. It can see through your eyes. It can hear what you're hearing, okay? It can make you swell. It can suffocate you. It can make your eyes itch. It can make you smell things that you didn't think were there. Remember when what's his name was saying Meta was gonna be like it was like we're to the point that it's gonna be so the technology that he made me cross-eyed again. I want you to pay attention. That way you know when they're playing with someone's head, their eyes will literally move around like their eyes won't be symmetrical. And that's when you know someone's playing with that person's head. So anyways, aside from that, Meta was saying, okay, so in a minute, we're going to have this virtual world where you can actually smell the smell of the, like if your friend was living across the world in a different country and they're cooking something and they wanted you to smell it, that you could smell that whatever it is they're cooking. And this technology would basically send that aroma to your mind and you would actually you can experience the feelings, the smell, again, he made me cross-eyed. They can experience like everything they're experiencing. Everything. Feelings, touch, their smell, what they're hearing, like the vibration, like it's like to another level, the extent of the sophistication of this weapon. And anyways, you smell things that aren't there. So the bitch is talking in my fucking head. Like I said, they can see through my eyes. They can hear what I hear. Basically, like they know what's my brain, they see my brain activity. They know what's stored in my memory. They know what's, how many hairs fell out of my head. When they say God knows every hair that fell out of your head, this is why. And I'm not just talking about the Christians, sweethearts. We're talking about every religion across the globe has a national security surveillance technology. And I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's actually governed specifically by religious organization leaders, I think, where they separate church and state, and the church and the state are so the church governs using these technologies, and national security governs anyone outside of that, or it's something like that. It's something of that, like that hierarchy. Yes, he said hierarchy. Yes. They're talking in my fucking head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women and they're murdering me. I want them sentenced to death. There are Muslim women across the Middle East and in Arab countries that are being hung, stoned, starved to death, raped. They're being beaten to death because the terrorists talking in my head want them to remain oppressed, okay, and dumb until their women can come forward with the money that they stole from the United States government, okay? And that means all the countries across the globe, and the Muslims, the money that they stole from the Muslims and the Christians in their own countries, and they want to go back and act like they made that money, and they're out to They want to go back to the Middle East and be the spokespersons for women's rights. And they're refusing to allow the women they're like causing such a frenzy in this narrative and the games and the records that they manipulated. Like they flipped the whole world upside down to do this. And now the United States and Arab countries, there are Arab countries involved, and European countries and Russia and China are flipping it right back over so that they could sentence these bitches to death. No one is allowing these terrorists to get away with it. And they're sitting talking in my fucking head. And the bitch keeps saying, haha, you're going to fucking die. Your kids are going to fucking die, stupid bitch. What the fuck do you mean you're not going to stop telling people? I'm like, the bitch is talking in my fucking head. The stupid whore doesn't know how to fucking hack into someone's head. She didn't discover it like a dumb bitch. She didn't fucking, the stupid whore bag. Because why the fuck would she be talking in my head, right? What a fucking dumb fucking cunt. And then the fucking whore bag at the same time can't stop, she can't access the records because there's so many, the security or encryption on it is I guess out of their reach. And apparently they can't block it. And now they're being held accountable by their stupid terrorist organization for each and every one of them to take responsibility for the people that they've claimed are terrorists. Okay? Based on, you know, whatever their circle of friends or the people that they've claimed are the, that have, you know, the, like I said, like the murders and the suicides and all these people, that to say, okay, well, Renee's affiliated with these people, so she must have more information. And so they're saying, well, since you guys specifically, although they're working together, they're just working side by side, so that if one of them gets caught, the other one doesn't. But they're talking, so it's like, how is that not fucking obvious? They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? They're murdering me and my daughter. Look at my hair. They told me it's telogen effluvium 2 years ago. It fell out more and then more and then more because the bitches in my head kept saying it's critical that they get a grip on me so that they can tell me what to do and how to do it and when to do it and when to die and to whom I can do it with and where and stay away from my kids and stay away from my mom and to stay away from work and stay away from church and stay away from the gym and this is ridiculous. I woke up this morning, if you saw the pictures of how swollen my face was. So I woke up and I looked like somebody beat me up. Like, this is actually subsiding. I'm still very swollen though. And I should have just went to urgent care. I don't know. I sat in front of the computer and I started getting, going into my rabbit hole of trying to figure out the perfect financing for people in foreclosures on a primary residence. So anyways, I'm just I'm baffled. The terrorists are still in my head talking. They haven't been sentenced to death yet. Why aren't people bringing them forward? And all I keep thinking is okay, what? So what? There are some governments out there that are okay, well, fuck it. We'll just use these fucking whore bags as a way to get our way, like some of the governments in the Middle East. And so the United States government is just no, we're not meeting anybody's demands, basically. And literally the continent of Africa is now split in half. If you guys, if you think it's funny and you want to sit here and play games, we'll just blow up your entire fucking continent. You guys are not like us. over the fucking bitches in my head. So I wonder now if the governments in the Middle East now are going to cooperate with the demands of the United States and Russia and China and the Arab countries that are demanding that they bring forward the records and they halt the investigations using these telepathy technologies. I think the one reason why there's still a little bit left in regards to like how the United States government, they need some clear records. I swear on everything I love, there will be absolutely no arguing and no discrepancies as far as my records are concerned. If these terrorists try to argue that they weren't abusing me and murdering me, I swear, this is like, honest to God, I'm not joking. I said I'm gonna walk the piece of shit, the psycho piece of shits talking in my head. He said, if they think I'm gonna go turn myself in there, that's a fucking joke. They would have to walk me like a dog. And so I sat there and I thought to myself, of course he can see, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna run? He's talking in my fucking head. And he's shocking my mind, and he's causing me to stutter, and he's causing me like he's causing me brain damage, especially when I'm working. Look, he made me cross-eyed. So, and he's like, you're not going to make a fucking dime unless I say so. And look at your daughter. She's in high school and she wants shit. That's what they're saying in my head. They're terrorists talking in my fucking head. You hear me? I need housing. And I need it fast. I want to secure housing. I want to bring my daughter in. And I'm done. I want to teach these bitches a fucking lesson, honest to God. When he said they'd have to walk me like a fucking dog, all I could think was, and excuse me for my very boyish demeanor at this point. First of all, we're talking about my daughter. And second of all, I'm being abused. I can't even feel like there is no feeling sexy when you're being abused. That's out the window. I can cry right now. Okay? There is no relationship when you're hearing fucking psychopath terrorists talking in your fucking head. That doesn't even make sense. I'm being deprived of all these things. And then I have to think of my kids' safety and how to best handle this. So I have to go around telling people I hear fucking voices in my head. And these bitches are terrorists, despite how crazy I look. And say they have said they want to murder me and my daughter and my mom and my sisters and my friends. But and I'm serious though. And then they have, and then and I have to consider okay, they're going to institutionalize me. All the careers that I could have had. I'm still young. I could still go back to school, but these bitches aren't planning on getting out of my head. They're Egyptian, American, Muslim women terrorists talking in my fucking head. They are the cause of all this swelling on my forehead here. Okay? They have, my face never looks the same. They make my nose swell. They bruise me, scratch me. Okay? He made me so dizzy, I dropped my iron and I burned my leg. One of the psychopath terrorists, he's like, I don't give a shit if you're a woman, bitch. I fucking abuse women. Didn't you see what happened to your friend Bernadette? So, he was like, didn't you see what happened to Bernadette? We raped her and murdered her to death. And we murdered her. We raped her and we drugged her. And then That stank ass, dirty, what did he call her? He called her a dumb, dirty, drug addict, rotten whore. Because they found her 5 days later decomposed. But she was in her room, and she had been going to church, and she was back in school. And you know what? She wasn't it wasn't like she was a drug addict. She experimented. She had so many health issues. It wasn't even funny. She was always like hunched over because of her stomach, because these terrorists were they were rotting her insides. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to fucking death. Do you hear me? They stoned women. They hung them. They burned them to death. They had them beat to death. They had them shot in the head. These bitches had them this is insane. I'm like watching these crazy stories about, and I'm like somewhat in shock. Like, this doesn't even make sense, but now it does. The women are being sentenced. First of all, the men were burning these individuals and didn't want there to be evidence of the burns from the radio frequencies, because they're obvious burns, okay? So they were finding ways to destroy the body so that there was no evidence of how they actually died. Now it's become very clear that it's the terrorists using these technologies that are responsible for the death, and the women have just been sitting around spending the money that these faggots, I'm sorry, he said they're not, and I don't have a problem with homosexuals. They're forcing words out of my mouth, and I'm not even gonna joke. Like, I'm gonna continue. I'm so sorry. I would never say that. These terrorists talking in my head. The money they were laundering and claiming that they had rights to after murdering people and framing innocent people for the murder of those people. So anyways, the women were just and then having kids with them and spending money on them, and then their dads would come home after murdering someone's kid and sit there and look at his, imagine coming home and he's like, oh my fucking God, I just killed somebody's kid, my kid is in danger, and then feeling this so bad, and every time he sees them he wants to cry, and then he sits there and splurges on them. And so they turn out to be these entitled whorebags that they are, talking in my fucking head. Dude, you just have no fucking idea how disgusting these bitches are. I want them sentenced to fucking death on God. So now they want the women sentenced to death, and now it's making even more sense, because now it's okay, well, the dads already did some, the dirt that they did is crazy. They said that Daniel Atkins, my friend, his body was laid down on a train track, and one of the girls, she was a survivor. There were 3 of them. It was Daniel Atkins and 2 girls, and one of them got up just in time to save her life. Daniel and the other girl their bodies were demolished, gone. Okay? And she said, I don't know, we were playing music and we thought it would be funny, and we kind of dozed off. And everyone's wondering, how in the hell did he not hear it? It's because they gave him a heart attack. They gave him a heart attack, and then they ran his body over so nobody would see the burn. So because they were afraid they were going to want to do autopsies on them. The bitches talking in my head are psychotic, and so now that it's obvious they're getting, the women are going to be sentenced to death or face life in prison. And some of them have younger kids, some of them have older kids, and now, if they're older and they're over the age of 20 or whatever the age is, they're considered terrorists. They're using the money. So their dads who've already, like I said, about the train track. Sorry, I lost track of what I'm saying because they play with my head often. like the crazy shit that they've done. It's like they've been there, they've done that. Now I'm watching these horror stories of like women, like people have lost their minds, that, you know, their hair fell out like mine. They're, not to say that I'm in that state of mind. I don't think I'd ever lose my mind like that. Thank God. But I've already notified everybody and their mom, so immediately they'll take me into the institution. Thank you, God. And my kids already know, like, safety measures. And so does my mom, so do my sisters. Like, this isn't a game. These bitches can actually control your mind. Anyways, so aside from that, their dads have lost their minds and did all this stuff with this war weapon, and now their daughters are being sentenced to death, and their grandkids are going to be possibly orphans. And I'm watching these news videos of women carving a woman's stomach open and taking the baby out of her stomach and trying to pass it off as her own. Look, he's making me cross-eyed again. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists, and those fucking bitches are way out. They are Looney Tune, I swear to God. And honestly, I know I said some crazy stuff, but I wouldn't have said it honestly if I was really like a criminal or a danger to anybody. I'm too insightful, and there's something about me specifically that makes me feel confident. They're talking in my head, and they're trying to like manipulate me so that it almost sounds like it's my own will that I want to go do things. I'm way past their like manipulation. At first, I never did drugs, but I did leave my apartments, and I was running around blaming people, and then at times I was locking myself up in my place, my home, and hiding from people outside. So I am where was I going with this? Sorry. Oh, so that was all because I thought it was outside because of what the voices were doing. They were manipulating me. But when it became clear to me, it was like, okay, time to clean up my like reputation and start to mend some of the relationships that were ruined because of my like accusations. I thought people were stalking me, and of course I did. But because I'm making progress, and it's clear that I'm not a drug addict or a danger to anybody, it's the terrorists in my head are just abusing me, and they're causing me brain damage. Like, that's a fact. I know they have. I can't remember anything anymore. I want them sentenced to death. I'm not joking. There are people being beheaded because of these terrorists. There are people that are being hung because of these terrorists, and it's not a joke. And like I said, the weird stories about the women carving out people's babies, that's their psycho dads trying to scare off the United States government and every government from sentencing their little babies to death. Their little babies are psychotic, dude. They're grown-ass women too, and they're not babies anymore. These are psycho bitches that belong in their jail cells till the day comes that they need to be put to rest. It's not a fucking game. Those bitches are talking in my head. I want them sentenced to death.